Hey guys, this is Mitch, and we're moving on to page 10 of issue 3 of Blood Force. And this is probably the silliest page that I've done to date, actually. For the most part, I've managed to keep it pretty much in theme. I kind of deviated, not from the script, because the script was equally silly, just deviated from, I guess, what people would have come to expect if this were published regularly. And I'll just get in there real quick. If you feel like you want to chip in a little bit on the Blood Force channel or comic or whatever, in the description, there's a thing, description. You'll find a link to my Patreon, and if you subscribe there, that gives you access to these pages, like the one I'm drawing here, as well as the finished comics and the YouTube videos before they get uploaded to YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram. So, we are continuing the very serious UN hearings where Maxtremus is looking to get refugee status for the Maxtretians. And she's run into some opposition from some sort of, supervisor, diplomat. I don't remember what his title was. It was like director of something, something, something. And there is suspicion that he may be, well, that somebody, there's no reason to cast aspersions. Somebody could be a plant from the clerk, like a spy, or perhaps even a clone of some kind. So like a mole. We don't want to say specifically that it is this guy, but he does have supervillain bodyguards behind him, which nobody has any real objection to. And which nobody really comments on, which, thinking about it, may be a bit of a mistake. They will later in the issue, at least. But for right now, they're just going to show up and flex. And, show off their weapons. And this was, I tried to do a Jay Lee comic, or Jay Lee sword, and I'm like, it doesn't look quite right. Well, why don't I just bring up some Jay Lee comics and like check it out? That is like almost exactly a Jay Lee comic. Half of those spikes you couldn't hit somebody with when you were swinging. Like at least the two on the outside at the bottom negate each other. But doesn't matter. Looks cool, right? Looks stupid. Doesn't really. I don't know. It fits in with the Jay Lee style. Because everything looks weird and over-exaggerated like that. That doesn't really happen in Blood Force. Much as I'd like it to. But, you know. And yeah, I compared these guys to like a stable of heels. Oh, right. I had to come up with one of their looks. This is, what is his name? Gun Show. Who's, he doesn't have guns other than when he flexes. That's the Gun Show thing. Yeah, so I got this far and had no idea what he was supposed to look like. The other guy is Knife with a Y. So that's a justifiable name. And so Knife and Gun Show. And Knife was easy enough to design. You just keep throwing shit on him. And Gun Show here, yeah. He's a little bit mocking. There's that Shadowhawk villain, who himself was mocking, I don't know, probably Liefeld stuff. With his horrible haircut. It's like, you too can play that game, Val. So he gets that horrible swooshy haircut. Oh, good, we're getting eggs. Yeah, so if Knife and Gun Show are like the heel tag team, then this is the director, and he's like their manager. He's their Mr. Fuji, their Mouth of the South. I don't know, who else is there? Jim Cornette, that kind of thing. And he's cutting promos on Maxtremus right as we speak. I'm trying to do the manga-ish motion lines. It's not something I'm familiar with. Like like I see it, but I don't really try it very often. So every once in a while I do, and it's like it doesn't feel quite right. I think it's just because I don't do it very often. If I was doing it all the time, yep. In case you weren't sure which one was knife, you will be by the time I start drawing his knives. I figured out this guy reminds me of a character in Edge of Tomorrow. The French guy. What was it? He doesn't talk a lot. He just makes crazy faces. I think it's mostly that mustache. But yeah, no, that knife looks it looks about right. It just doesn't look right on a character that's that grounded. Maybe the mistake was in making him that grounded. I should have thinking about it. Maybe I should have made Knife in a more Jay Lee style. Like maybe I should have tried for it. I don't know. I mean, we've already got a character here in this in the RoboClone. I'm not even going to call him the director. He's the RoboClone. Everybody knows it. It's not subtle. It's not supposed to be subtle. But he's already kind of outside of reality, particularly by the time we get to like a couple of pages from here. He's like a complete cartoon. I'm pretty sure these are actually steak knives on Knife's belt here. He just needed more knives. And like, God forbid that poor guy sit down. Just right through his quads. Yep. Jeweled scabbard. Yep. Knife and gun show. I like it. And I've thought before of doing attacks based off of like flexing poses. So like if he does the Hulk Hogan with the one hand pointing and the other arm flexing, that does like a targeted beam kind of thing maybe. And like flex the shoulders and pecs with the like the fists out in front of you. That's more of an area of attack. Both arms up, flexing the biceps is like shield. Can't figure out which light bulb to use. What else was there? I don't know. There was a couple. The knife and gun show fight isn't happening in this issue. They're really just there to add like a what the fuck element, really. And then next issue they get to show off a little bit. I will say gun show I came up with when this book was more parody-ish. No, so then it probably wouldn't fit as well then. It probably fits better now with that kind of silliness. Where like he does like an AoE attack and they get knocked back and go, "Oh, the striation!" and that kind of thing. And of course they both got fucking cod pieces. That thigh thing I stole directly from Warchild. The Liefeld thing. But I mean, there's plenty of pocket designs I've stolen from. If you want to know how to draw pockets, that's like one of the few things Liefeld's good at. I will grant him that. He can draw a pocket better than me most days of the week. I think I got him beat pretty much everywhere else. I do like this expression. This is, Hawkstab was told to be on the lookout for anybody acting strangely because they could be a Clerg clone. And this is him being like, you know what? This one guy smacking everything and screaming and saying some pretty ridiculous shit. I mean, you can't see it, but trust me, he is. Trying to think of one of the lines. And then while he's pondering, the only thing he can actually think of is Max Remus's ass because she was walking ahead of him. And if we remember from like page 8, I think, maybe page 8. She was walking a little ahead of him, and he was staring. So he's trying to remember. This is like the one angle I can draw a woman walking away where it looks okay. Like, definitively. Well, maybe not definitively, but, you know. Definitely the most confident about it. Yeah, no, that looks all right. And this, I mean, this should be the screen cap. Right? I'm still undecided whether Hawkstab and Max Streamus will ever get together. I'm leaning towards no. And not even ever really having Max Streamus acknowledge anything. You know, she says things that could be construed as double entendres, but it's like, okay, but is that what that is, or is that she didn't really understand the language? It's like, well, you know, she's an alien. It could be that. And yeah, and then like this little designy thing here. I say designy thing. I just put some black in, but that leads straight from Hawkstab's head to Max Streamus's ass. I kind of like that. You know, it's like a dumb version of like framing. And we get the creepy old UN guys discussing how impressive the RoboClone is with his grandstanding and his gesturing. This turned out to be a pretty decent panel. Trying to keep them looking fairly realistic. It's tough with the guy on the right here. Because, like, the first panel I drew him in is definitely the best he's looked. And ever since then, I've been trying to recapture him. It's like, not quite. Not quite. Over and over. This guy looks a lot better than he did in his earlier ones, though. So, you know, I think I come out ahead anyway. Yeah, that guy looks great. This guy's like, I'm pretty sure that first shot I drew of him was like half by coincidence. Like, just, you know, just happened to come up with a pretty good drawing of a dude. And that's that panel pretty much done. Yeah, the one thing about these UN hearings is that, man, they go by quick. It's pretty good. Yeah, I think I was gonna let this go as no background, but it's like, this has been a no background kind of page. You know, you got to come up with something, man. So, like, that's not much, but it does kind of set things up a little bit. And this is where things go just ridiculous. Because we get... I wasn't even sure how I was going to draw this. This is the RoboClone slapping the desk, round the world style, as it says in the script. I think it's pretty clear what's going on. I hope so. Man, I was drawing his hair much more controlled earlier on. It just got sillier and sillier. Maybe I should like rein it in a little bit. Like go back, like, you know, I can always just like white out stuff. And this is another one where I'm just kind of guessing how to go about doing this. I think it works. For the most part. And, you know, like yeah. Yeah, that's not bad. And, you know, you put in a sound effect going like whap, 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 whap. Yeah, this is like, we're not even trying to be realistic anymore at this point. And of course, I still got to do these guys. Use my 03 for this? This should have been 02. Eh, why not, I guess, if it works. I mean, this whole page ended up looking pretty good, really. Oh, the one thing I did forget, there's supposed to be a couple of giant laser cannons behind these guys here. Oh, well, eh? Oh, the microphones. Yeah. It's like the further we got into this scene, I forgot something on every page. Later on, I would, on further pages, I would remember the laser cannons, but forget the microphones. So, again, maybe call that a draw. So, yeah, that is page 10, I think. Yes. One of the more, like I said, one of the more silly pages is fun to draw. So, hey, that's always good. This sequence did get to kind of drag towards the end. So, now that the sequence is done, I'm glad to be moving on and get on to some Popo for page 13. So, tune in on Sunday, tomorrow, for that. It's a Popo scene. You want to watch a Popo scene. Yeah. So that's it. Thanks very much for watching. I couldn't remember how to transition in for a second. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications so you know when the next one's coming out. Comment down below on how this page ruins comics. It probably doesn't. But, make it up. Come up with an argument. Call it a writing assignment. Give me like 150 words on why this page is terrible. I'd enjoy that, I think. Up to a point, and then, that's the one where I get like 50 comments and it's like, oh fuck, this is what I did to myself. Where was I in my spiel? Go over to my Patreon and subscribe there, and that'll give you access to everything I do, from the Blood Force pages to the finished comics, as well as these videos before they make it to YouTube, usually a week or so in advance, and some Patreon exclusive content. In addition, you can go and follow me on Instagram. I'll be dropping drawings on there probably around once a week, and you can DM me there for commissions. So yeah, that's it. That's a weird way to say that. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.